Good morning. Let's start chapter 1 of class 12 Human Geography from book 1, that is Fundamental of Human Geography. The first chapter is Human Geography, Nature and Scope. You will study geography as an independent subject and learn about the interactive relationship between human beings and the physical environment. As we all know that the two branches of geography are physical geography and human geography. What is physical geography? It studies the physical environment, which includes geomorphology, climatology, hydrology, and pedology. These terms refers to the physical features which we see around us. For example, water, air, climate, soil, sunlight, landforms, flora, and fauna. The human geography studies the interrelationship between physical environment and sociocultural environment created by human beings through mutual interaction. We can see human environment in terms of agriculture, settlement, the industries around us. If you want to study human geography, there are three different theories which explains the nature of human geography. The first one is environmental determinism. In the early stages of humans' interaction with their natural environment, humans were greatly influenced by Mother Nature. There is direct dependence of human beings on nature for resources which sustain them. In the picture, you can see a person who is a nomad moving from one place to another with the herds in search of pasture and water. So it means nature determines his movement. Nature has influenced different aspects of human life. Its imprints can be noticed on food, clothing, shelter, and occupation. Now, the next theory, which explains the nature of man and environment relationship in a different way, which is known as possibilism. The present societies have modified their natural environment by inventing and using technology. Technology helped man to create possibilities with the resources obtained from the environment. The picture shows how man has started utilizing the mountains and the hill slopes by converting into patch of agricultural land. So the imprints of human activities are created everywhere, either in terms of terrace cultivation on hills, huge urban sprawls, or ports on coasts. Now the question comes, which one to follow, either possibilism or determinism? So now comes a new theory which doesn't want to remain determinism and cannot follow the path of possibilism, and that is new determinism. The reason is, if we follow possibilism, path of possibilism, the impacts of the development process can be seen in terms of global warming, ozone depletion, air, water, and land pollution, and loss of biodiversity. So Griffith Taylor introduced a concept of go determinism around 1920, which reflects a middle path between the two ideas of determinism and possibilism. The free run which the developed countries attempted to take has resulted in multiple problems which we see around us today. It means that the process of development should not damage the environment. So, this was all about the nature of human geography. Now, we talk about the evolution of human geography. The evolution of human geography, the approach in the subject matter was seen different in different time period. You can see that from 1400 to 1800 it was exploration and voyages. You can see how Spanish and Portuguese people started moving around by the sea routes from Atlantic Ocean, crossing Indian Ocean, crossing the Pacific Ocean, and trying to find out new lands beyond these water bodies. Then comes the stage of regionalization, when the approach of geographer was to divide an area into a smaller segment called region, so that we can know each and every place on earth, or rather we can say we can have a better idea about the physical features, the socio-economic features, the cultural features. Then, in between the period of wars, comes areal differentiation. The primary focus of this approach was differences rather than similarities among places. To know the differences, to know the uniqueness about a region, and it will help us in the process of production, in the process of exchange and consumption. In the period of 1950s and 60s, we saw a major change in the field of geography, and the approach was quantitative revolution. It was referred to as revolution because it marked a new beginning in the way the subject matter of geography is to be studied. The quantitative revolution involves use of descriptive statistics and basic mathematical equation. Today it has become more prevalent due to advances in computer and software technologies. Then in the period of 1970s, we saw the birth of welfare approach because geographers were dissatisfied with the quantitative approach which gave a dehumanized approach to geography. We cannot separate man from human geography. In welfare approach, issues like poverty, regional inequalities in development, urban slums, and deprivations became the focus of geographical studies. Smith and David Harvey are some of the well known advocates of this approach. The focus of welfare approach is who gets what, where, and how. If you talk about who, it refers to the area under review, it refers to the people of that region. What refers to the various goods or services enjoyed or endured by the population in the form of commodity, services, environmental quality, and so on. The where reflects the fact that the living standard differs according to the area of residence. Some people or some regions have high standard of living and some places have a poor standard of living. The word how refers to the process whereby the observed differences arise. The welfare approach now has merged with other lines of inquiry. So basically, welfare approach talked about the social well-being of human being. In the period of 1970s, we find the third school of thought, that is radical approach. The background of radical approach was Vietnamese war, human rights violation, poverty in urban ghettos, civil rights movements in USA, opposition to racism, social values were on stake, and rising inequality. This approach wanted to solve the issues which people over the world were facing. So, in this way, we see that there are different approaches of human geography adopted during different time periods. The third approach, which developed in 1970s, the third school of thought was behavioralism. Behavioralism, as the name suggests, studies how a man behaves. It believes that man's decisions are influenced by the image after looking at a phenomena. According to this approach, a piece of information is interpreted differently by different people of different socioeconomic background in the same geographic location. I shared a picture of Ubuntu. It's a tribal community in Africa. They belong to a different cultural group, and Ubuntu is their philosophy. It means I am because we are. They have a very helping nature. They want to help each other because they believe how can one of us be happy if all the other ones are sad? So it is one kind of behavior that they have adopted, and people of this community behave in the same way. So culture influences a lot how a man behaves. Now we come to the end of this chapter. The last topic of this chapter is fields of human geography. Human geography led birth to different types of geography. For example, we have social geography. It refers to the society, it refers to the discussion on societies, how societies were formed, how one society is different from other, what are the problems in a society. So this field of geography was termed as social geography. Slowly and gradually, man started settling down in one location. So people settle either in form of rural settlement or in urban forms, which is studied under the topic of settlement geography. Urban geography, on the other hand, refers to the towns and cities where we find all the basic amenities to satisfy human needs are easily available. As man started growing and settling down in one place, with the industrial development, there was a change in occupation. The occupation of man was studied under the topic economic geography. It studies whether a person belongs to primary sector, secondary sector, or tertiary sector. Then comes the population geography. It's a subject which studies the different characteristics of population, starting from density, distribution, sex ratio, age and sex structure composition, migration pattern, settlement pattern, and trade and transport among two places. Lastly, we cannot ignore the importance of political geography because each and every region has been divided and has got a political identity. In some places, the government policies are human friendly, they help in the development of human beings. So these nations are showing development process amongst the human being much better compared to those places where the government policies are not helping the people to get either literacy or to get education or to get health facilities. In this way, we see that human geography gave birth to different subjects like social geography, urban geography, political geography, settlement geography, and economic geography. That's all in this chapter. Thank you.